What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about how to get into Tulane University, which is in New Orleans, Louisiana. I've got 6 tips for you, which, if you can apply them all to your life and your application, will greatly increase your chances of getting into Tulane. Let's start with tip number 1. While Tulane is far from an Ivy League college geographically, it is getting closer to the Ivy League statistically in terms of selectivity. This is not your mom's or your dad's Tulane. Therefore, I want you to strive to reach the same sort of foundational level of excellence as I advise my Ivy League applicants to achieve, because frankly, a lot of students applying to highly selective colleges like Penn, Emory, USC, and the like are also attracted to and applying for admission at Tulane. I want you to be able to compete with the strongest applicants to Tulane, not just barely get in. For that reason, below this video, in the description section, please find the link to my How to Get into the Ivy League Ethically article, which is published on admissions.blog. Read every word of that article. The earlier in high school, the better, because if you can do everything that article is advising, you will go into the formal college application process during the summer before your senior year in high school well positioned to not only get into Tulane, you'll also likely to be able to consider Tulane a safety school. In the article, I provide specific advice about how to make smart academic, testing, extracurricular, and personal communication skills development choices throughout high school, and these will lay the foundation for a successful college application process. Tulane still will accept students who can't achieve all that I'm recommending for you to achieve in this article, but your chances of admission and merit-based aid at Tulane will be much higher if you fully implement the suggestions I make in this article. If you achieve some, but not all of what I recommend in this article, you still have a shot at Tulane, but as Tulane becomes more competitive with each passing year, that's not a risk I want you to take. Moving on to tip number 2. If Tulane is your first choice and you feel comfortable emotionally and financially committing to attending, please apply by Tulane's November early decision deadline. As always, early decision is a binding agreement. If you get into Tulane early decision, otherwise known as ED, you are committing to attend. Tulane offers early decision, early action, and regular decision deadlines. It should also be noted that Tulane will sometimes announce in the late fall that it is opening up an early decision 2 option. But because that option is not exactly written in stone, an oddity of Tulane's admissions process, assume that it won't be available to you. So for our purposes here today, assume the only ED option at Tulane is Tulane's November early decision deadline. Though of course, anything can change in the future. Tulane in recent years has become one of those colleges that gives great preference to those students who apply binding early decision. Therefore, if you can get your act together early enough, use Tulane's November early decision deadline if you are ready to attend Tulane when admitted. If you can't or won't apply to Tulane early decision, please apply early action, which will give you an earlier notification than regular decision will, but which will also allow you to be reviewed before the huddled masses apply to Tulane regular decision. Tip number 3, Tulane understands that Common Applications Activities page is a small one-size-fits-all form that does not allow many talented applicants to appropriately elaborate on the depth and breadth of their extracurricular accomplishments throughout high school. With this in mind, Tulane, thankfully, on its supplement to the Common App, allows applicants to upload a full-fledged, unabridged extracurricular resume. This is an amazing opportunity if you grab it, but far too few students do. Believe it or not, a lot of students will upload nothing in this optional portion of Tulane's supplement. Still others will upload a prosaic little resume that doesn't go far, if at all, beyond what the student already shared in the activities page of the common part of the Common Application. Use this resume upload opportunity in Tulane Supplement to elaborate on extracurricular activities that you began describing in the activities page of the Common App, and or use this resume upload opportunity to describe for the first time activities that never made the cut at all to be included on the 10-entry Common App activities page. Now, you don't just want to use some random format or structure for this resume upload. You want to convey more information about your extracurricular depth and breadth, but you need to do so effectively and efficiently. With that in mind, you need to build an extraordinary extracurricular resume before you are ready to upload your resume to Tulane Supplement. How do you do that? Well, you've got to take the definitive course aptly named How to Build an Extraordinary Extracurricular Resume, which I link to below in this video's description. As I often say, it's no longer about simply being a college applicant worthy of admission to a university like Tulane. It's just as much, if not more important, to know how to communicate that you are a college applicant worthy of admission to a university like Tulane. This online extracurricular resume building course will help you do just that vis-a-vis the very important yet often overlooked optional resume upload button on the Tulane Supplement to the Common App. Let's move on to tip number 4 now. On Tulane Supplement to the Common Application, there is not just a place for you to upload a resume. There are also 2 writing opportunities. I want you to tackle the first one with me right now. This is the prompt. Quote, please briefly elaborate on one of your extracurricular activities or work experiences, end quote. And you have up to 250 words to respond to this prompt. Now, I will be honest, you would be shocked at how many students screw up their response to this prompt. Please, for the love of all that is holy, do not simply write out an extended narrative resume entry in this space. So many students see this prompt and they just look at it one-dimensionally and then they think to themselves, well, I didn't get to write much about being on the prom committee on either the activities page at the Common App or in my resume upload. I might as well give more details about my responsibilities as prom committee chairperson here. Oh my. I don't advise you do that at all. You don't want to just state objective facts here like an extended resume entry. Instead, you need to make sure to frame your response as a mini essay with a little thesis, a little body, and a little conclusion. And make sure this mini essay is highly subjective in nature. What I mean by this is if you are using your class president position, for instance, as the extracurricular to write about, you need to show and tell a story, like a day in the life tale, that brings out a larger point or two about why you got involved in being president of your class, what you learned from being president of your class, how you grew from the experience, and why it matters. Basically, you really do need to go and dig deep with showing you in action in this activity, and then zoom out to explain in the last third or so of the response why this activity has been important in your development as a person and why it should be important to Tulane in the context of Tulane getting to know you. Take this piece of writing extremely seriously, as it's really one of only 2 Tulane-specific writing opportunities you have that only get sent to Tulane on the Tulane Supplement to the Common Application. Show Tulane your value system by your choice of activity to elaborate on, how you describe your actions in this activity, and what you got out of this activity. Onward to tip number 5 now. Tulane has an optional essay on its supplement as well. Anytime you have an optional essay on a supplement, complete it and complete it well. If you don't, you are missing out on an opportunity to positively differentiate your application. Tulane gives you between 500 and 800 words to respond to this prompt. Quote, please describe why you are interested in attending Tulane University, end quote. I like how Tulane gives you so many words to build this response out well, though I do realize a lot of students don't like how much space they have to write here because it means If they actually want to tackle this prompt, they have to write quite a bit to positively differentiate their case for admission. And it's a pretty broad prompt, I will give you that. You can go in any number of directions with your main focus, but I still would recommend that the main thrust of your essay spotlights why Tulane is a good fit for you and why you are a good fit for Tulane. And this should be premised on academic and curricular fit above social and environmental fit, in my expert opinion. A lot of students draft this essay in sort of an upside down manner where they first make the cornerstone of their essay Tulane's campus or New Orleans or wanting to join a sorority or fraternity or why they are so excited to hang out at the boot. And while these are all cute little anecdotes to round out your essay, I suggest that you need to first make the compelling case for academic and curricular fit before you start mentioning being enraptured by New Orleans' charm, or being excited about joining a fraternity or sorority, or cheering on the Green Wave. This means before you start writing, you need to research Tulane's academic offerings in depth and determine what differentiates them from those offered at peer institutions. Only then will you be able to make a focused and specific argument about what attracts you to Tulane and the particular major or majors you are considering pursuing at Tulane. As always, on this type of question, please be specific. If you find yourself writing content in response to this prompt that could be applied to a similar question on Indiana's or Michigan's or Wisconsin's application, you have already failed to be as specific as you need to be to clinch your offer of admission to Tulane. After you successfully tackle that academic or curricular fit, from there you can branch out to discussing the fit culturally, socially, athletically, environmentally, what have you. Keep in mind that you need to not only write a very tailored love note to Tulane, you also need to show how you will engage with the academic and other opportunities that you hope to pursue at Tulane. Even if you are undecided, you have to try to connect a constellation of majors on offer at Tulane to your pre-existing interests and then connect them to how you see yourself evolving as a person and professional at Tulane and beyond. While that may feel like a lot to juggle, you do have the space to say what you need to say as long as you approach this essay with the goal of specifically and methodically responding to the full prompt. Always remember to show just as much, if not more, than you tell. Give Tulane your best shot by taking this prompt seriously and using it as your closing argument, just like a lawyer would use his closing argument to wrap up a case in a court of law. But have fun doing it. Show who you are and how you will take advantage of all that is attracting you to Tulane. Finally, on to tip number 6. Tulane gives some early decision and early action applicants the opportunity to interview in, quote, a friendly, low-stress environment, end quote. This would be with an alumnus, and following this interview, the Tulane alumnus who conducts the interview will complete an evaluative report that will augment your application file. Tulane goes on to state on its website, quote, while not receiving an invitation for an alumni interview or choosing not to participate in one will not impact the admissions decision, end quote, I want to interject here that I think it is ridiculous that Tulane only offers this opportunity to only some and not all ED and or EA applicants, because it creates a massively uneven playing field. So even though they're claiming that not taking part in an interview offered to you if you're one of those select EA or ED applicants will not harm your application, I think that is a huge mistake to not take part in an interview, because it's an amazing opportunity an interview is to put a face to the application, to differentiate yourself in person, and display your passion for and knowledge of Tulane. Therefore, I want you to do everything you can do to take part in such an interview if you are applying to Tulane early decision or early action. If you don't get the invite, call Tulane's admissions office and ask for an invite. If for no other reason, then I think it's frankly unfair that some ED and EA applicants get the chance to interview and others don't. And you want them to know in Tulane's admissions office that you want your opportunity in the limelight. You want to be able to talk to someone who went to Tulane to learn from that person, but also to share more about you. So please, if you don't get that invite, politely ask for an interview by phone. I bet they'll turn you down, but it doesn't hurt to ask, because it shows that even if you don't get the interview opportunity, because there's only limited alumni to go around, you are still really interested in Tulane to the point that you really want to interview. More information about the exact mechanics of the optional Tulane alumni interview can be found below this video in the video description. 2 more quick notes though on tip number 6. A, and I say this sincerely, since you are going to be putting together a great resume with the help of tip number 3, which we already talked about earlier, the resume tip, you should absolutely bring your extracurricular resume with you to this Tulane interview. Please print out 1 copy for you and 1 copy for the interviewer so you both can look down at it and refer to it if and when needed during the course of your interview. Because in many ways, by bringing that resume, you're going to compel that interviewer to ask you some softball questions about your most impressive accomplishments. B, please make sure to write a thank you email to your interviewer within a couple of hours of the interview. As was mentioned previously, the person interviewing you is going to write up an evaluative report about your interview and how you performed and how you came off. The sooner you can write a thank you email after exiting the interview, the better, so that they know, this interviewer will know, you are a very polite young lady or young man. So, we got through it. You are now very well positioned to put together a stronger application to Tulane than you otherwise would have been able to produce had you not gotten through all 6 tips I've shared with you today. If you want more personalized college admissions coaching and college application feedback, please visit CollegeMeister.com, where you can sign up to work one-on-one with me, CollegeMeister. And feel free to watch this video over again to make sure you absorbed all of the important information that I shared. Please also consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and sharing it with your friends. If you do get into Tulane and want to show off either while still in high school or once you get to Tulane's campus, or just if you want to show off in your neighborhood, in the description below this video are links to my favorite Tulane shorts for women and tanks for men. Good luck, and until next time, I'm CollegeMeister CollegeMeister with all you need to get in.